Hey everybody, this is Steve Krause. I'm coming at you today from my home office. I was planning on being outside, but it got all kind of cloudy out, so what can you do? This is just a little update for week 2 of the class. Things are underway. They're going quick. It's kind of the nature of the spring term. It goes too fast. It goes too fast. Due yet this week are the invent your own technology invention. You need to have that posted and that show and tell posted to the website at EMU Online as soon as you can. And you need to have a couple blog posts done by now. I'm going to start looking at those and making comments on those. And you got to start making wrapping up the readings, which I think people have mostly done. And you need to start worrying about the peer review process. Okay. If you're signed up for more than one group, that means I did something wrong. And let me know, because I can screw up the way that the groups are configured on EMU Online pretty clearly. But you should see just one group, and there's groups of 3 or 4 people. Follow the instructions for that, and you'll be doing that as part of the Google Docs activity. That's what you'll be doing for this first activity. When the essay is due, you'll need to hand in a word processed version of that essay, either as a Microsoft Word file or as an RTF file, to the Dropbox. But you'll be doing the peer review part on Google Docs. Let me just mention a couple of things to keep in mind that I've already mentioned before with the assignment, but just to repeat for emphasis. The first thing is that remember, with this essay, what you want to do is you want to make connections between what it is that you invented, what it is that you did, and the readings that we read for the class. In other words, the invention part of the assignment is the practice. In other words, what does it mean that writing is a technology that you write with sticks or on clay or with baked goods or whatever, versus the theory, which is like sort of stuff that Ong is talking about in terms of the nature of literary cultures versus oral cultures, the sort of stuff that Barron is talking about in terms of the way that literacy follows a sort of predictable pattern in terms of like how literacy emerges from a culture based on different technologies and such, versus some of the stuff that Manguel talked about in terms of the history of the book and how that sort of like impacts, or how that connects with literacy practices and technology practices and that sort of thing. So that the idea then is to use the assigned readings to support the points that you want to make based on your own practices inventing some sort of writing technology. What you don't want to do is you don't want to write 2 essays. That is, you don't want to have an essay that begins, here, let me tell you about all the readings over here. This is what Ong said, this is what Barron said, this is what Plato said, and then over here talk about, hey, this is what I did with my sticks and my cardboard or my charcoal or whatever. Those 2 things have to meet somewhere in the middle. So make sure that there's some connections there. The other thing is that I really want to emphasize, I emphasized before, but I want to remind people about this again. You want to work to write to an audience that's beyond just the class, that's beyond the class. In other words, you want to write an essay that stands on its own, not an answer to a test question. So, for example, if you wrote something like, the Ong essay was really interesting. I never thought about it before this assignment. That's really only reaching out to an audience of people within the class itself. I mean, we're the only ones who understand who this Ong person is, and that it's an assignment for the class. Anybody who wasn't in the class wouldn't get that reference at all. However, if you say something instead like, in his essay, Writing as a Technology That Restructures Thought, Walter Ong notes that writing itself is a technology, even when it is merely words scratched into the dirt with a stick. When you say something like that, it frames the entire thing. It gives a reader who's not familiar with the assignment or anything else some sort of sense of what it is that you're talking about, the name of the essay, the name of the author, and so forth. Those are the sort of things that you need to do to move your essay from something that you just merely do because it's some kind of crazy assignment that some crazy teacher has you do, to writing something that actually people would actually want to read, an essay, a piece of your own work for an audience. Okay, I think that's about it for now. This is plenty of information to digest, and hopefully you've watched this and enjoyed it. My dog is barking, suggesting that it's time for us to go for a walk. So I'm going to go do that. You go work on your projects. Oh, and I'll see you online.